My wife rejected me every night for a year while sleeping with my brother. She thought I was just a pool guy scraping by. She had no idea I was hiding $8.4 million. When I found what she'd been doing to our daughter for cash, I made sure she'd spend the next 28 years regretting every refusal. My name is Fletcher Hayes. I'm 44 years old, and I've spent the last 16 years building a pool maintenance business from the ground up in Phoenix, Arizona. My hands are rough from chemicals and concrete. My back aches from hauling equipment, but I've always been proud of providing a good life for my family. A nice house in a decent neighborhood. A yard where our 3-year-old daughter Lily could play. Security. But security doesn't mean much when your wife looks at you like your furniture. Brooke and I met 11 years ago at a community barbecue. She was 23, fresh out of college, working as a dental assistant. I was 33, already running my own business, already divorced once. She laughed at my jokes. She touched my arm when she talked. She made me feel like I wasn't just some guy who cleaned pools for a living. 6 months later, we were married. 3 years after that, Lily was born. And somewhere between the hospital visits and the sleepless nights and the mounting bills, Brooke stopped seeing me as a husband and started seeing me as a paycheck. The rejection started small. Too tired tonight. Fletcher. Not in the mood. Can we just go to sleep? I told myself it was normal. New parents go through rough patches. Work was exhausting for both of us. But when months turned into a year, and a year turned into something worse, I started noticing other things. She'd angle her phone away when I walked past. She'd take calls in the garage. She'd dress up for errands but wear sweatpants around me. And every night, without fail, she'd turn her back to me in bed, creating a wall of pillows and silence between us. I tried talking to her. I tried planning date nights. I tried everything except the one thing I should have done, which was admit that the woman I married had already left me in every way that mattered. That Tuesday in March changed everything. I knocked on the bedroom door. Brooke opened it, phone in hand, face flushed. She looked annoyed, like I'd interrupted something important. "Who were you talking to?" I asked. "Just a friend," she said, brushing past me. Just a friend. Those 3 words would haunt me for months. The phone call I made that night would change everything, though I didn't know it yet. I sat in my truck outside our house for 20 minutes, hands shaking, staring at the contact I hadn't touched in 7 years. Colton Hayes. My younger brother. We'd been close once. Growing up in Tempe, we were inseparable. He was 3 years younger, always the charmer, always the one who could talk his way out of anything. I was the responsible one, the one who worked construction jobs at 16 to help Mom pay rent after Dad left. But Colton had a talent for destroying everything he touched. At 21, he borrowed $15,000 from me to start a business. The business failed. The money vanished. When I confronted him, he laughed it off, said I was being uptight. 6 months later, he slept with my first wife, Jennifer. Claimed it was a mistake, that they were drunk, that it didn't mean anything. I cut him off completely. Changed my number. Blocked him on everything. Told him if I ever saw him again, I'd break his jaw. Mom begged me to forgive him. I refused. Some betrayals don't get second chances. So why was I thinking about him now? Because the voice I'd heard through the bedroom door that Tuesday afternoon, the voice that made Brooke laugh in that intimate way, it sounded familiar. Not identical, but familiar enough to plant a seed of doubt that grew into something uglier. I scrolled through Brooke's phone that night while she slept. I'd never done it before, never needed to. But desperation does things to a man's principles. Her messages were carefully curated. Nothing obvious. No smoking gun. But there were gaps. Entire conversations deleted. A messaging app one didn't recognize. And then I found the photo gallery she thought was hidden. Pictures of her at restaurants I'd never been to. Pictures at a lake house I didn't own. And in 3 of them, reflected in a window behind her, a man's silhouette. Tall. Lean. Familiar build. My stomach turned. I opened her laptop next. She'd left it on the kitchen counter, still logged in. Her email was a goldmine. Confirmations for hotel rooms. Receipts for dinners. And then I found the messages. They went back 18 months. 18 months of, "I miss you," and "When can I see you again?" and "He doesn't suspect a thing." The name at the top of the thread made my blood run cold. Colt. Not Colton. Just Colt. But I knew. I knew in my bones. I clicked on the earliest email. It was from 2 years ago. Short. Direct. "Saw you at the grocery store last week. You look good. We should catch up." Her response, I don't think that's a good idea. Fletcher wouldn't like it. His response, Fletcher doesn't have to know. And she'd agreed. She'd actually agreed. I sat there in the dark kitchen, laptop screen glowing, feeling something inside me die. My wife was sleeping with my brother. The brother I'd cut out of my life. The brother who'd already destroyed one marriage. And Brooke knew. She knew exactly who he was. She knew what he'd done. And she'd chosen him anyway. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, numbness spreading through my chest like frost, and started planning. Because if there's one thing I learned from my first divorce, it's this. Emotion loses. Strategy wins. And I was done losing. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't see the point. Instead, I sat in my home office with the door locked, going through every document, every bank statement, every piece of paper that tied my life to Brooks. And that's when I remembered Uncle Raymond. Raymond Hayes died 4 years ago, my father's older brother, a man who'd made a fortune in commercial real estate across Nevada and Arizona. He was eccentric, never married, no kids. The family always assumed his money would go to some charity or get eaten up by taxes. But 2 weeks after his funeral, I got a call from his attorney. Raymond had left me everything. $8.4 million in cash, stocks, and property holdings. The only condition, I couldn't tell anyone in the family. Not my mother. Not my brother. No one. Raymond believed money revealed character, the attorney had said. He wanted you to have security without the burden of expectation. I'd set it up carefully. Offshore trusts. Legal entities. Everything structured so that on paper, I was still just Fletcher Hayes, pool guy. The money sat there, growing, waiting. I told myself I was being smart, that I'd use it for Lily's future, for retirement, for something meaningful. But really, I was testing Brooke. Testing whether she'd stay with me if I wasn't secretly rich. Testing whether she loved me, or just what I could provide. She failed. Now, sitting in my office at 3 a.m, I pulled up the trust documents. Everything was in my name alone. Brooke had no claim to it. None. We'd married after I'd inherited, and I'd kept it completely separate. In Arizona, that meant it was mine. Untouchable. My wife had rejected me every night for over a year, turned to my brother for comfort, and never once suspected that the man she was dismissing was worth more than most people see in 10 lifetimes. She thought I was just some guy who cleaned pools. Colton probably thought the same thing. I made sure she'd regret every refusal. Not through violence. Not through rage. Through strategy. I spent the next week documenting everything. Screenshots of emails. Photos of text messages. I hired a private investigator, a retired cop named Bill Hutchins who owed me a favor after I'd helped his daughter get a job 2 years back. Within 48 hours, Bill had photos of Brooke and Colton meeting at a motel off Interstate 10. Lily and I were home by 6 every evening that week. I cooked dinner. I read bedtime stories. I played the role of devoted father while Brooke came and went as she pleased, barely acknowledging my existence. On Thursday night, she actually patted me on the head like a dog when I asked if she wanted me to make her a plate. I already ate, she said, scrolling through her phone. With who? I asked calmly. She looked up, annoyed. Does it matter, Fletcher? You're always so suspicious. I smiled. Just curious. That smile unsettled her. Good. Let her wonder. Friday afternoon, I met with my attorney, a sharp woman named Diana Frost who specialized in high net worth divorces. I laid everything out. The inheritance, the affair, the evidence. Diana leaned back in her chair, studying me. You've been planning this. I've been protecting myself. I corrected. Smart man, she said. Here's what we do. She outlined a strategy that was elegant in its simplicity. File for divorce. Claim irreconcilable differences. Offer Brooke a settlement that seemed generous on paper, but was actually a fraction of what she might fight for if she knew the truth. Most importantly, keep the inheritance completely off the table. She'll take it, Diana said. Women like her always do. They want out fast, especially when there's another man waiting. I nodded. What about Lily? Full custody, Diana said. With the evidence you have, plus the fact that Brooke's been neglecting parental duties to meet her lover, a judge will rule in your favor. Especially if we can prove the affair partner is your estranged brother. Family betrayal plays well in court. I left her office feeling lighter than I had in months. Not happy. Not relieved. Just clear. Like I've been walking through fog and finally found the road. That night, I came home to an empty house. Brooke had texted, "Staying at my sister's tonight. Lily's at daycare until 6. I picked up Lily, fed her dinner, gave her a bath, and put her to bed. Then I sat in the living room and waited. Brooke came home at midnight. She didn't expect me to be awake. "We need to talk," I said from the couch. She jumped. "Jesus, Fletcher, you scared me." "Sit down, Brooke." Something in my voice made her obey. She sat across from me, defensive, arms crossed. "I know about Colton," I said. The color drained from her face. Brooke's mouth opened, closed, opened again. For a woman who'd spent 18 months lying to my face, she was remarkably bad at hiding guilt when directly confronted. "I don't know what you're talking about," she finally managed, but her voice shook. I pulled out my phone, opened the photo gallery, and turned the screen toward her. Bill's surveillance photos. Brooke and Colton entering a motel room. Brooke and Colton kissing in a parking lot. Brooke and Colton having lunch at a restaurant in Tempe, her hand on his thigh under the table. She stared at the screen, face pale, hands trembling. "How long have you known?" she whispered. "Long enough," I said. "How long has it been going on?" Silence. "Brooke, how long?" 2 years, she said quietly. "It started 2 years ago. 2 years. Lily was 1 year old. Brooke had been sleeping with my brother since our daughter was a baby." "Does he know about the inheritance?" I asked. Her head snapped up. "What inheritance?" I almost laughed. She didn't know. Neither of them knew. "Never mind," I said. "Does Lily know him? Has he been around her?" Brooke shook her head quickly. "No, never. We kept it separate. She's never met him. I wouldn't do that to her. But you'd do it to me." She flinched. "Fletcher, Save it." I cut her off. "I don't want apologies. I want the truth. Why him? Why my brother?" She looked down at her hands. "It just happened. We ran into each other at a gas station. Started talking. He apologized for what happened with Jennifer. Said he'd changed. We got coffee. Then coffee turned into more. And you didn't think to tell me? Didn't think I deserved to know that my wife was reconnecting with the man who destroyed my first marriage. You wouldn't have understood," she said defensively. "You would have forbidden it." "Damn right I would have." She stood up, suddenly angry. "This is exactly why I didn't tell you. You're controlling, Fletcher. You always have been. You decide where we live, what we spend money on, how we raise Lily. I needed something that was mine. I stood too, keeping my voice level. So you chose my brother. The one person on earth guaranteed to hurt me the most. It wasn't about hurting you," she snapped. "It was about me. My happiness. My needs. You were so focused on work, on building your business, you forgot I existed." "I forgot," I said, voice rising despite myself. "I came home every night. I cooked dinner. I changed diapers. I begged you to talk to me, to tell me what was wrong. You pushed me away. Every single time. Because you weren't what I needed," she shouted. The words hung in the air like smoke. I took a breath, let out slowly. "Okay, then let's end this cleanly. I'm filing for divorce. You can have the house, $50,000 in cash, and your car. I get full custody of Lily." "Full custody?" Brooke's eyes widened. "You can't." "I can. And I will. You've been neglecting her to meet your lover. I have documentation. Dates. Times. I also have these photos. A judge will see a mother who prioritized an affair over her daughter." "You bastard," she hissed. "I'm a bastard," I said quietly. "You slept with my brother for 2 years, lied to my face every day, and rejected me every night while I begged for scraps of affection. But I'm the bastard because I won't let you take my daughter." Tears started down her face. Real ones this time. "I made a mistake." "No," I said. "A mistake is forgetting to buy milk. A mistake is being late to dinner. What you did was a choice. Multiple choices. Every day for 2 years." I walked to the door, grabbed my keys. "I'm staying at a hotel tonight. Tomorrow, my attorney will contact you with the paperwork. Sign it, Brooke. Don't fight me on this. Because if you do, I'll make sure every detail of this affair comes out in court. Your family will know. Your friends will know. Everyone will know exactly what you did." "Where are you going?" she asked, voice breaking. "To get Lily. She's coming with me. You can't just take her." I turned back, and something in my expression made her step back. "Watch me." I went upstairs, gently woke Lily, wrapped her in a blanket, and carried her to my truck. She barely stirred, just mumbled, "Daddy," and fell back asleep against my shoulder. Brooke stood in the doorway, crying, but she didn't try to stop me. As I pulled out of the driveway, I looked in the rearview mirror. She was calling someone. Probably Colton. Let her. Let him deal with the mess he'd helped create. I'd spent over a year being rejected, dismissed, treated like I was invisible. Now Brooke would spend the rest of her life regretting every refusal, every cold shoulder, every night she turned away from me. Not because I was cruel, but because I made sure she'd lose everything that mattered while I walked away with our daughter and a fortune she never knew existed. 3 days after I moved out with Lily, Brooke's sister called me. Amanda. She was frantic. Fletcher, you need to come to the house. Now. Why? What's wrong? Just come. Please. I dropped Lily at my mother's place and drove to what used to be my home. Amanda met me in the driveway, face pale, hands shaking. I found something, she said, in Brooke's closet. She called me hysterical yesterday, asked me to pack some of her things. I was going through her boxes and she handed me a flash drive. You need to see this. We went inside. The house felt different already, like it belonged to someone else. Amanda plugged the drive into Brooke's laptop. What I saw made my stomach turn. Photos. Hundreds of them. Lily in the bath. Lily sleeping. Lily playing in her room. Innocent photos made sinister by the file names and the folders they were organized in. Age 2. Age 3. Private collection. There's more, Amanda whispered, clicking another folder. Chat logs. Brooke had been uploading these photos to some kind of private messaging group. The conversations made me physically ill. Men asking for specific poses, offering money, requesting more. How long has this been going on? I asked, voice hollow. Amanda pulled up the earliest messages. 14 months. Brooke had been selling photos of our daughter to predators for over a year. Does she know you found this? I asked. No. I came straight to you. I pulled out my phone, hand shaking, and called Diana Frost. I need you to conference in a detective. Now. Within 2 hours, my living room was full of law enforcement. FBI agents, because the images had crossed state lines. Local police. A forensics team taking the laptop, the flash drive, everything. Detective Sarah Ortiz sat across from me, notepad in hand. Mr. Hayes, I need to ask you some difficult questions. Did you have any knowledge of this activity? None. Zero. I would never. My voice broke. We believe you, she said gently. Your sister-in-law's statement corroborates that. But we need to ask. For the record, I understand. We're issuing a warrant for your wife's arrest. Do you know where she is? Probably with my brother, Colton Hayes. I can give you his last known address. The detective made notes. We'll need to interview him too. There's a possibility he was aware of this activity. The thought made me sick. What if Colton knew? What if he'd been part of it? There's something else, Agent Morrison said. Older man with gray hair and tired eyes. The IP addresses in these chat logs. Most are encrypted, but we traced a few. One of them matches your brother's home address. The room spun. He was in the chat. I asked. We can't confirm his direct involvement yet, but someone using his internet connection accessed these files multiple times over the past 6 months. I stood up, walked to the window, tried to breathe. My wife had been exploiting our daughter. My brother had possibly known about it. Everything I thought I understood about my life was a lie. What happens now? I asked. We arrest your wife, seize her devices, interview your brother. If we can prove he had knowledge and didn't report it, he'll face charges too. Production and distribution of this material carries federal sentences of 15 to 30 years. 30 years. Brooke would be in her 60s before she got out. If she got out, what about Lily? I asked. You'll retain full custody. We'll need to interview her, gently, with a child psychologist present. But based on what we've seen, there's no evidence of physical abuse. Your wife was careful to keep the photos seemingly innocent. That's common in these cases. They convince themselves it's harmless. It's not harmless. No, Mr. Hayes. It's not. They arrested Brooke that evening at Colton's apartment in Tempe. I wasn't there, but Diana called me with updates. Brooke had tried to run. They'd found her in the parking garage, suitcase in hand, trying to get to her car. Colton had been arrested too, not for the photos, but for harboring a fugitive once the warrant was issued. They'd seized his computer, his phone, everything. I sat in my hotel room that night, Lily asleep in the next bed, and thought about the woman I'd married. The woman who'd kissed me at our wedding. The woman who'd cried happy tears when Lily was born. The woman who'd slowly transformed into someone I didn't recognize. Had she always been capable of this? Or had something broken inside her? I didn't know. Didn't care. All that mattered was that Lily was safe now. Safe with me. And Brooke would never touch her again. My phone buzzed. A text from Diana. Federal prosecutor is filing charges tomorrow. They're not offering a plea deal. She's looking at 25 years minimum. I typed back, good. Then I deleted the message thread, turned off my phone, and lay down next to my daughter. She stirred, mumbled, "Love you, Daddy. Love you too, sweetheart. Forever." The next morning, Detective Ortiz called. "Mr. Hayes, we need you to come to the station. Your brother wants to talk." I don't want to see him. I understand. But he's claiming he has information about the photos. Says he'll only talk if you're present. I almost refused, but something in her tone made me reconsider. Information. What kind of information? I dropped Lily at my mother's again, drove to the Phoenix Police Department, and was led to an interview room. Colton sat at a metal table, handcuffed, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Detective Ortiz sat beside me. Agent Morrison stood by the door. "Talk," I said to Colton. He looked up, eyes red. I didn't know at first. I swear, Fletcher, I didn't know what she was doing. But you found out. 3 months ago, I saw her laptop open, saw the folders. I confronted her, and she broke down, said she needed the money, said you weren't giving her enough, that she felt trapped. She was making about $2,000 a month from those photos. $2,000. She'd sold our daughter's innocence for $2,000 a month. Why didn't you report it? I asked, voice cold. Because I'm an idiot, Colton said, tears starting. Because I thought I could fix it. I told her to stop. She promised she would. I believed her. But she didn't stop. No. She got better at hiding it. I didn't find out she was still doing it until the FBI showed up at my door. Detective Ortiz leaned forward. "Mr. Hayes, younger Mr. Hayes, you understand that failure to report this crime makes you complicit?" "I know," Colton said. "That's why I'm cooperating. That's why I'm telling you everything." "What else is there to tell?" I asked. Colton looked at me directly for the first time. The man running the chat group. The one paying the most money. I have his real identity. Agent Morrison straightened. "Ow. I'm a software engineer. Remember? I traced the payment routing. Found his real name, his address, everything. I was going to turn him in. I needed time to figure out how to do it without Brooke going down too." "You were protecting her," I said flatly. "I loved her," Colton whispered. "I know that doesn't excuse anything. I know what I did was wrong. But I loved her, and I was trying to find a way out that didn't destroy everyone." "You destroyed me," I said. "You destroyed my daughter's childhood. You destroyed our family." Again, he flinched. "I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life regretting it. But right now, I can help catch the man at the top of this network. He's not just buying photos. He's organizing, coordinating. There are dozens of mothers like Brooke sending him content." Agent Morrison stepped forward. "Give us the name. I want a deal first. Immunity for my testimony. We don't make deals with people who—" "I'll give you his name," Colton interrupted. "But I want Fletcher to know I'm sorry. Really sorry. For Jennifer. For Brooke. For all of it. I've spent my whole life being selfish, and it cost me the only family I had." I stood up. "Your apology means nothing. You enabled the exploitation of my daughter. You slept with 2 of my wives. You're my brother by blood, but you're nothing to me. Fletcher, save it for the judge." I walked out. Behind me, I heard Colton giving Agent Morrison the information. Heard him breaking down, sobbing. I didn't look back. Outside, Diana was waiting. "How'd it go?" "He's cooperating. Giving them some ringleader's identity in exchange for a deal." "Will he get immunity?" "Probably. The FBI cares more about the big fish than the small ones." Diana nodded. "And Brooke?" "No deal for her. They're pushing for maximum sentencing." "Good. The preliminary hearing is next week. Are you ready?" "Yes." I wasn't. But I'd be there anyway. I'd look Brooke in the eye and watch her realize that every night she rejected me. Every time she chose Colton over our family, she was building the cage she'd spend the next 25 years in. And I'd walk out of that courtroom with Lily, with my inheritance intact, and I'd build a new life. One where my daughter never had to fear the people who were supposed to protect her. The federal trial took 4 months. I attended every day, sitting in the back row, watching Brooke try to explain away 14 months of exploiting our daughter. Her attorney attempted to paint her as a victim, someone driven to desperate measures by financial hardship. Diana demolished that narrative in cross-examination. Mrs. Hayes, isn't it true that your husband provided you with a household budget of $4,000 per month? Yes, and isn't it true that you had access to joint credit cards with a combined limit of $30,000? Yes. So, when you claim financial desperation drove you to sell images of your 3-year-old daughter, you're saying $4,000 monthly plus credit access wasn't sufficient. Brooke's face flushed. It's not about the amount. It's about control. Fletcher controlled everything. Did Mr. Hayes prevent you from working? No, but did he prevent you from accessing the joint accounts? No. So you had financial freedom, employment opportunities, and access to funds, yet you chose to monetize images of your daughter instead. Is that correct? Brooke had no answer. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. Production and distribution of child exploitation material. 28 years federal prison. No possibility of parole for the first 15. Colton got immunity for his testimony, but he'd have to live with what he enabled. Sometimes that's worse than prison. After the sentencing, I went home to my mother's house where Lily and I had been staying. She was playing with blocks in the living room, building towers and knocking them down, laughing each time they fell. "Daddy, look," she called. "I see, sweetheart. That's amazing." She smiled, already forgetting about it, building again. My mother came into the room, handed me coffee. "What happens now?" "Now I disappear," I said. She looked confused. "What do you mean?" "I've been planning this for weeks. Consultations with Diana, with a relocation specialist, with immigration attorneys in 3 countries. Germany," I said. "I've been offered a contract position managing pool systems for a resort chain in Bavaria. It's legitimate work, full visa sponsorship, path to permanent residency. I've already enrolled Lily in an international school there." "You're leaving the country?" "Mom, Brooke will be in prison for at least 15 years. But eventually she'll get out. She'll have rights, theoretically, though I'll fight every visitation request. But I don't want to spend the next 15 years looking over my shoulder, wondering if she'll try something when she's released. I want Lily to grow up somewhere safe, somewhere Brooke can't reach her." "What about me? What about your business?" "I'm selling the business. Already have a buyer, a competitor who's been trying to acquire my client list for years. The sale closes next week. As for you, you're coming with us if you want. I've got more than enough money to support all of us. The inheritance from Uncle Raymond, remember?" She nodded slowly. "When do you leave?" 3 weeks. I've already shipped most of our belongings. Changed Lily's legal name through the court, citing safety concerns. She's Lily Hayes Raymond now. Different enough that casual searches won't find her easily. You've thought of everything. I had to. This isn't just about me anymore. It's about making sure my daughter has a chance at a normal childhood. My mother hugged me. "You're a good father, Fletcher. Better than your own was." Those words meant more than she knew. The next 3 weeks were a blur. Selling the house, selling the business, closing accounts, transferring everything to offshore structures that would follow me to Germany. I said goodbye to friends, to colleagues, to the life I'd built in Phoenix. And then, on a Tuesday morning in September, Lily and I boarded a Lufthansa flight to Munich. She pressed her face against the window as we took off, watching Phoenix disappear below us. "Are we going on vacation, Daddy?" "No, sweetheart. We're going home. But our home is back there. Not anymore. Our home is wherever we're together." She thought about that, then nodded, satisfied with the answer. As the plane leveled out over Nevada, I looked back one last time at the desert landscape below and thought about Brooke. About the woman who'd rejected me every night, who'd chosen my brother over our family, who'd sold our daughter's innocence for $2,000 a month. I'd made sure she'd regret every refusal. Not through vengeance, but through consequence. She'd spend the next 3 decades in a federal prison while I built a new life across the ocean, raised our daughter in safety, and never looked back. Some men get revenge through violence. I got mine through strategy and a one-way ticket to somewhere she'd never find us. Munich in autumn was beautiful. Golden leaves, crisp air, the smell of coffee and pastries from street-side cafes. Lily adapted faster than I expected, picking up German phrases at her international school, making friends with other expat children. I started the resort management job, traveling between luxury properties in Bavaria and Austria. The work was good, the pay was excellent, and nobody asked questions about my past. My mother came 3 months later, sold her house in Arizona, and moved into an apartment 2 blocks from ours. She helped with Lily, cooked dinners, slowly build a new life just like I was doing. 6 months after we arrived, I met someone. Her name was Helena. She was American, originally from Oregon, working as a translator for a pharmaceutical company in Munich. We met at a parent gathering at Lily's school, her son in the same class. We started with coffee, then dinners, then weekend trips to the mountains with the kids. She knew about my past. I told her everything on our 4th date. The affair, the betrayal, the trial. She listened without judgment, then told me her story. Her ex-husband had cheated with her sister. They'd married each other after the divorce. She understood betrayal at a molecular level. We're survivors, she said, and survivors deserve second chances. Lily loved her. That mattered more than anything. A year after arriving in Germany, I received a letter forwarded through my attorney. Brooke had written from prison. Diana had screened it first, confirmed it wasn't threatening, then sent it on. I almost threw it away unread. But curiosity won. The letter was short. No apologies, just questions. Where was Lily? Was she safe? Did she ask about her mother? I wrote back once. Only once. Lily is safe, healthy, and happy. She doesn't ask about you. She doesn't remember you. That's for the best. Don't write again. I never heard from her after that. Colton tried to contact me twice through social media. I blocked him both times. He was dead to me, just like he'd been for 7 years before all this started. 2 years after moving to Germany, Helena and I got married in a small ceremony in the Bavarian Alps. Lily was flower girl. Helena's son, Oliver, was ring bearer. We bought a house together in a village outside Munich. Big yard, mountain views, quiet streets where kids could play without fear. Lily started calling Helena Mama around year 3. I didn't discourage it. She deserved a mother who showed up, who cared, who put her first. On Lily's 8th birthday, we had a party in our backyard. 20 kids running around, parents chatting, the smell of grilled sausages and cake filling the air. Lily ran up to me, face covered in frosting. Daddy, this is the best birthday ever. I'm glad, sweetheart. Do you think? She paused, suddenly serious. Do you think my first mama ever thinks about me? I knelt down, looked her in the eyes. I don't know, Lily. Maybe she does. But what matters is that you're loved right now. By me, by Helena, by everyone here. You're safe and happy. That's what's important. She hugged me tight. I love you, Daddy. I love you too, sweetheart. Forever. She ran off to join her friends, and Helena came over, slipped her hand into mine. You okay? She asked. Yeah, just thinking about how different things could have been. But they're not. They're exactly as they should be. She was right. Brooke was in prison. Colton was a ghost. And I was here, in Germany, with a daughter who was thriving and a wife who actually showed up. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so good that the people who hurt you become irrelevant. Brooke had rejected me every night, chosen my brother, exploited our daughter. And I'd made sure she regretted every refusal by doing the one thing she never expected. I disappeared with everything she'd taken for granted, and I built something better without her. 5 years after moving to Germany, I received another letter from Brooke. This time Diana didn't forward it immediately. She called first. Fletcher, she's written again. It's different this time. More reflective. Do you want to send it? I thought about it. Lily was 8 years old now, thriving in school, fluent in German and English. She called Helena Mama and had stopped asking about Brooke entirely. Send it, I said. I can handle it. The letter arrived a week later. I waited until Lily was asleep, until Helena was reading in the other room, before I opened it. The handwriting was different, shakier, older somehow. Fletcher, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't expect you to respond. I just need you to know that I understand now what I destroyed. Prison gives you a lot of time to think. Too much time. I've spent 5 years replaying every decision, every choice that led me here. The affair with Colton, the photos, the lies. I was broken, Fletcher. That's not an excuse. It's just the truth. Something inside me was wrong, and instead of getting help, I hurt the people who love me most. My therapist here says I have something called dependent personality disorder. I attached myself to men who made me feel important, and I'd do anything to keep their attention. Colton made me feel special in a way you stopped doing after Lily was born. That's not your fault. You were being a father. A good one. I was just too selfish to see it. The photos. I can't even explain that without hating myself. $2,000 a month seemed like freedom. Like control. I convinced myself they were harmless. Just pictures of her playing. Nothing terrible. But I knew. Deep down, I knew what those men were really seeing. And I did it anyway. I heard you moved to Europe. I'm glad. Lily deserves to be somewhere I can't reach her. She deserves a mother who shows up, and I never did. Helena sounds like a good woman. Tell her thank you for being what I couldn't. I have 13 more years here. When I get out, I'll be 48 years old. Lily will be 18. An adult. I don't expect her to want to meet me. I wouldn't want to meet me either. But if she ever asks about me, tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I loved her, even though I didn't know how to show it. Tell her she was never the problem. I was. Take care of our daughter, Fletcher. You always did anyway. Brooke. I read it twice. Then I folded it, put it back in the envelope, and filed it away in a locked drawer. Maybe someday, when Lily was older, I'd show it to her. Maybe she'd want to understand who her birth mother was. Or maybe she wouldn't care. Either way, I'd keep it. Not for Brooke. For Lily. So she could make her own choices when the time came. I went upstairs, checked on her sleeping form, kissed her forehead. She stirred slightly. Love you, Daddy. Love you too, sweetheart. Helena appeared in the doorway. Everything okay? Yeah. Just thinking about how lucky I am. She smiled, took my hand. We both are. And she was right. Brooke had rejected me every night, betrayed me with my brother, exploited our daughter. But in doing so, she'd freed me to find something better. A life where I was valued, where my daughter was safe, where love wasn't a weapon, but a gift. I'd made sure Brooke regretted every refusal, not through revenge, but by living well without her. And that was the best justice I could have asked for. 10 years after leaving Phoenix, I stood in the backyard of our home, outside Munich, watching Lily graduate from her international middle school. She was 13 now, tall and confident, fluent in 3 languages, planning to study environmental science in high school. Helena stood beside me, our son Jonas playing at her feet. He was 3, the same age Lily had been when everything fell apart with Brooke. But Jonas would never know that chaos. He'd grow up in a stable home with parents who showed up, who loved each other, who put their children first. Lily walked across the stage to accept her diploma. The crowd applauded. She looked out into the audience, found me, and smiled. After the ceremony, she ran over, diploma in hand. Dad, did you see? I saw. I'm so proud of you, Lily. She hugged me tight, then hugged Helena. Thanks for being here, Mama. Wouldn't miss it for the world, Helena said. Later that evening, we had a celebration dinner at our favorite restaurant in the village. Lily was animated, talking about high school plans, about a summer program she wanted to attend in Switzerland. Can I ask you something? She said during dessert. Of course. My birth mother. Is she still alive? The table went quiet. This was the first time she'd asked in years. Yes, I said carefully. She's in prison in America. She made some very bad choices when you were little. Will she ever get out? Yes. In about 8 more years. Lily nodded, processing. Do you think she ever thinks about me? I thought about Brooke's letter, still locked in my drawer. I know she does. Would you be mad if I wanted to meet her someday? When I'm older? Helena reached across the table, took Lily's hand. Sweetheart, that's your choice. Not ours. We'll support whatever you decide. I nodded. Your mother and I divorced because she hurt people I loved. But she's still your birth mother. If you want to know her when you're older, we won't stop you. We just want you to be ready for what you might find. What will I find? Someone who's probably very different from the person you imagine. Someone who made terrible mistakes. But maybe someone who's learned from them. I don't know. I haven't spoken to her in 10 years. Lily thought about that. I don't think I want to meet her now. Maybe when I'm older. Maybe never. I just wanted to know it was an option. It always will be, I said. She smiled, relieved, and the conversation shifted to lighter topics. That night, after everyone was asleep, I went to my office and pulled out Brooke's letter. Read it one more time. Then I wrote a response. The first communication I'd sent her in a decade. Brooke, Lily is 13 now. She's healthy, happy, and safe. She asked about you today. I told her the truth, that you're in prison, that you made mistakes. She's not ready to know more than that. Maybe she never will be. But I'm keeping your letter for her, in case she ever wants to understand. You were right about one thing. You were broken. But that didn't give you the right to break everyone around you. I hope you found some peace in there. I hope you've genuinely changed. But I also hope you understand that Lily doesn't owe you anything. Not forgiveness, not a relationship, not even acknowledgement. You lost that right when you chose yourself over her. Helena is a wonderful mother. Jonas is a great kid. We're happy here. We're building something good. That's all you need to know. Fletcher. I sealed it, mailed it the next day, and never heard back. Years later, on Lily's 18th birthday, I gave her Brooke's original letter. She read it alone in her room, came down an hour later with red eyes, but a calm expression. Thank you for keeping it, she said. Do you want to reach out to her? I asked. No, maybe someday, but not now. I have everything I need here. And that was enough. Brooke had rejected me every night, betrayed me with my brother, and exploited our daughter for money. I'd responded by building a life so strong, so full of love, that her absence became irrelevant. The inheritance Uncle Raymond left me, the $8.4 million Brooke never knew existed, funded everything. Lily's education, Helena's business, Jonas's future, a life of security and peace. Brooke spent over 2 decades in prison for her crimes. Colton disappeared after his testimony. Last I heard, working some dead-end job in Nevada, alone. And I was here, in Germany, surrounded by family who chose to show up every single day. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living so well that the people who hurt you become footnotes in a story that's no longer about them. This is my story, and it has a happy ending.